As a kind, caring, and compassionate educator, you probably recognize that your role in the classroom is more than just education. You probably recognize that you're walking alongside students, that you are a safe person to them, and you seek to help them to regulate and to be the best student they can be. I'm Caroline Poland from Poland and Associates Consulting, and today I'm going to talk a little bit about regulation activities that you can use in the classroom with students to help them to widen that window of tolerance and to kick them out of either hyperarousal or hypoarousal when they've gone back into that amygdala to re-engage that prefrontal cortex. If you haven't watched my other videos in the Window of Tolerance series, you might want to do that first and then come back to this video because that will lay some of the groundwork for what we're going to talk about today. And by way of summary, just remember that the window of tolerance is that zone or the range that your students can optimally function, where they can face hard situations or have hard emotions and still regulate through them. So today we're just going to talk about a number of different strategies that might be helpful for incorporating into the class. And again, by doing this regularly and teaching students this early on in the school year and then putting this as a regular rhythm, you won't have to wait until a student becomes dysregulated. This will just be a rhythm throughout the day. So if a student is disconnected or panicking and you don't realize it, you'll be able to help them regulate in a way that's healthy for them and in a way that's constructive. So some of these things that I talk about will be more geared towards younger kids. Some of them will be for older kids, and some of them you can just, knowing your students and their level of development, change a little bit to make sense for them. So this first strategy is certainly for younger kids. I learned this from Karen Purvis's Institute of Child Development and Trust-Based Relational Interventions. So this is just a fun one for little kids. And so with that, you'll ask everyone, what's your favorite soup or what is your favorite hot beverage? And let them all choose something, and you're gonna hold a bowl of soup. So you're going to do this with them. Again, our nervous systems are mirroring one another and attuning and regulating with one another. And so have them recognize that it's hot and we can't have hot soup. So you're going to blow on it to cool it down. Oh, but we want to enjoy it and we want to smell it. Inhale the smell of the soup in. Can you notice how good that smells? Let's blow out and cool that soup down. Inhale, and what do you notice about how good that soup smells? Maybe you can ask them what they see in that. You're engaging some of the sensory grounding with that. But that's just kind of a fun way to do that. Certainly you're probably not going to do that with older kids, but an interesting way, instead of just breathing in and out, that they can have some fun in doing deep breathing. Again, to tie into that, another strategy that you can use is just deep breathing. So with that, you're going to take a nice deep inhale, hold it in for a second, and then exhale it out. So again, you don't want to have that be really jerky. Inhale and out and exhale. You really want that to be nice and slow. If you or a student feels like it might be triggering to focus on the inhale, then instead we can focus on the exhale. So again, you want to teach this to students before you start using this in the classroom. And focusing on the exhale, you're just going to do a slow, hard exhale instead. Your body will naturally inhale after that. Slow exhale. So you can teach deep breathing as either the inhale, exhale, smooth flow in and out, or you can teach that as the hard exhale and letting your body inhale instead. Another strategy that you can use is that of sensory grounding. And with that, we're focusing on our 5 senses and what are things that we can use with those 5 senses to calm ourselves down. And with that, we want to teach students to be that curious observer and noticer. All of us have a sense that we like or that feels more calming than the others. So cue your students to ask them, what do you notice when you look around the classroom? If you identify 5 different things that you can see in the classroom and focus on your feet on the floor as you do that, what do you notice happens in your body? So with our students in the classroom, regardless of what age that they are, we want to cue them to recognize what happens, to be that curious observer and noticer, and then what happens next. So when I do blank, then blank happens. We're teaching them ownership and empowerment. We're teaching them that they have agency in their life. So not only are we teaching them an important regulation skill, but we're teaching them how to be a curious noticer and observer, and we're helping to empower that agency that they have in their life. With sensory grounding, you can also put a grounding kit in a corner of a classroom, and with that I'm going to link a video below because I talked more about building a sensory grounding kit in another video. But you could also do little things for them at their desk as well. So that could be a piece of Velcro that they can just rub, or a silicone scrubby if they like that texture, which I talk about in that other video. But what could they even keep at their desk that allows them to ground themselves in that moment? Maybe if they get anxious in a test, or if they're about to stand up and give a presentation and they feel like their mind is going blank. There are also a number of different movement-based strategies that you could use that would just take a couple seconds of time that you could, in the middle of a lecture to them, use and incorporate. So one of them is to just take your hands and grab either underneath your legs or underneath the seat and just pull up, and then relax and tense up and relax. That can help to regulate the nervous system. If you're in a chair that has arms, you can push down as well. I know a lot of desks don't have chairs. But if you had a chair in the room that did have that, you could still teach students, and they could go back and push down or pull up if necessary. And with that, you also want to focus with your feet on the ground and notice what changes as you do that. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Poland and Associates, and my website polandandassociates.com, and make sure that you subscribe to this channel so that you don't miss out on future videos.